Hi folks, welcome to National Cryptid Society Case Files. Tonight we've got a report from a former National Park security officer. And this is case file number 75. Report of Bigfoot by Yellowstone Park security officer gets swept under the rug.
The Oxford English Dictionary defines the word cryptid as an animal whose existence or survival is disputed or unsubstantiated, such as the Yeti. For the following witnesses to living cryptids, there is no dispute. In this series of National Cryptid Society case files, you will hear what the witnesses have experienced in their own words. Keep an open mind when listening to these accounts, and also remember one's perception and memory of an event can be influenced by the emotions felt at the time of the occurrence. The contributors to this series are doing the best they can to recount what are, in some cases, very shocking and traumatic experiences.
Location, Yellowstone National Park. Date, sometime between 1981 and 1984. Submitted by Anonymous. I suppose I'm getting this weight off my shoulders. I lived and worked in Yellowstone National Park, Old Faithful, from 1981 to 1984. I worked as night security for the resort. We came on duty when the law enforcement rangers went home. Just before my shift, a couple, tourists, approached me to ask a question. They wanted to know about the park bears. They wanted to know if they walked upright while feeding in the water. They said they saw a bear pulling vegetation from a pond and carrying it to the shore walking upright. They said it turned and looked at them from about 30 yards away. I showed them photographs of bears and they became upset, saying they were not stupid. They were offended, so I suggested they draw what they saw. The lady drew a Bigfoot, or a Bigfoot-like creature. I wrote a report and filed it in the Dropbox at the ranger station. The ranger station opens at 7 a.m. When my shift ended at 7 a.m., me and a security buddy went to the ranger station before going to the trail to check it out for ourselves. This was no later than 7:30 a.m. The ranger in charge at the time said he did not receive my report, but the trailhead was closed for a study, or problem bears. We went anyway. The trail to Mallard Lake was closed with parked cars that I had not seen before. I kept inquiring until my boss from Mammoth Hot Springs told me to drop it. He said he had seen my report. He told me the park was aware. I prefer to be anonymous. I'm not sure why I feel that way, as it was many years ago. It was such a strange experience. Most law enforcement rangers were friendly with me. They knew that I had completed the law enforcement academy. I felt weird talking about it. The subject was something understood but not talked about. A job ender. This was clearly not a bear sighting. I was told to let it go. Back then I was a young guy with no interest in the Sasquatch stories or movies or etc. Years later I learned a highly respected backcountry ranger made a BFRO report. I'm nearly 60 now. It was a long time ago. In some ways it seems like yesterday. National parks back then were places where bad press, crime, missing people were all kept quiet. Thanks for listening. Be well. Probably the most famous Yellowstone Bigfoot story in recent years is the Old Faithful webcam footage, which YouTubers Thinker Thunker and Para Breakdown have opposing opinions on the matter.
Hey, this is Thinker Thunker, and here we've got some bison, the American buffalo, returning to the Old Faithful site. And back here behind them, let me just zoom in. We see, let's see, 1, 2, 3. we've got 4 Bigfoots on screen at the same time hunting them. It's a world record. So thank you guys for watching, and just kidding, stick around and
The footage supposedly shows a family of Bigfoot moving behind a herd of bison in the snowy recesses behind Old Faithful Geyser. Links to this video and the 2 YouTubers' videos as well are going to be in the description of this video. The National Park Service have a statement on Bigfoot sightings on their website. In the 20th century, chief rangers were tasked with answering letters sent in from all over the world. The majority of the letters contained common questions such as, when will Old Faithful Geyser go off? How many bears are in the park? Where can I camp? But sometimes the questions being asked stray from the basic to the more unusual, as was the case in October of 1980. That month, Superintendent Thomas O. Hobbs received 2 letters asking about the presence of the elusive Bigfoot. The letters were dated only a week apart and possibly inspired by a reported Bigfoot sighting in nearby Jackson, Wyoming earlier that year. That this was not the type of question that could be quickly answered by looking through records is evident by Hobbs's replies. We are unable to find any references to sightings of Bigfoot in Yellowstone's historical natural history records. With no reported sightings, there really is nothing further to pursue at this time. I seriously doubt the above statement is completely accurate. Speaking of which, I've recently made a Freedom of Information Act request of the United States Department of Interior regarding any records on their electronic record-keeping system concerning Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I did receive files containing the word Bigfoot and Sasquatch. However, they're more to do about Bigfooters than they are about Bigfoot. And I'll explain that in another video. So why would the National Park Service officials brush off the above report at first, then admit it was seen and basically give it the back off response, or the park is aware of the situation response? Some individuals assert that the government is covering up evidence of Bigfoot. This scenario is possible, even probable, given the secretive shenanigans the United States government is capable of. I'll add to this conspiracy by adding apathy and fear into the mix. I don't know about you, but I could imagine park officials and employees wanting sightings of Sasquatch and Bigfoot to be hushed up and not to cause a stir within the area, not because they're trying to cover up the existence of a species, but because it would be a lot of work, extra work that no one wants to do. And nobody wants to be known as the government official who disclosed that Bigfoot was roaming around our national parks unchecked. Your average family might cancel their vacation to Yellowstone because there's some information from the government that a large unidentified hominid is wandering around the park unchecked. Others would flock to the area in hopes of hunting down the elusive beast, not to mention the throngs of people who would invade the park wearing Bigfoot costumes looking to cause trouble for themselves and others. Moreover, if you were a park ranger, think of the ridicule that you would face. And also think how the higher-ups would react. Fear of losing one's career over what might or might not be a misidentification or a hoax would be a pretty strong motivator to hush it up. There are a few government documents that mention Bigfoot or other cryptids for that matter. There are 3 that are available to the public that we feature in our article, 3 Government Documents Concerning Cryptids. That concludes tonight's National Cryptid Society case file. If you have any comments, questions, or information, feel free to put them in the comments in this video. Otherwise, you can go to the article, which is going to be on www.nationalcryptidsociety.org, and you'll look up National Cryptid Society case file number 75. If you have had an encounter with a cryptid animal, strange creature, or what you can only describe as a monster, consider submitting a report to us at www.nationalcryptidsociety.org/contact. The National Cryptid Society is self-funded, and the costs of operation are offset by the sale of our unique designs on Amazon and other platforms, but mostly Amazon. You can search National Cryptid Society on Amazon to see what we offer, and a link to our brand is in the description of this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We would like to thank the following friends of the National Cryptid Society, including our partner page, Obscure Monsters, Bigfoot the Truth Told, Restricted Access, author Denver Michaels, Mattsquatch Presents, the Singular Fortean Society, and Andy McGrath's Beasts of Britain. Like, follow, and subscribe to these folks, and you'll have the most up-to-date news and reports from the realm of cryptozoology and the paranormal. It's a slinky. It's a slinky. I swear. It's a slinky.